Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Grand Line. It's episode 2. This is your host, grandlinecast, and I'm here with the man, Count Vamps.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
So, how's your week going, man? How's things going?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty well, you know, just sort of getting along, chugging along, watching a fair bit of anime, like,
nice.
I started reading a couple mangas, so
nice.
Yeah, things have been pretty good, and we might have a house, so, you know.
Oh, that's big news.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How about yourself?
Same old, the usual here. Still chugging along on some animes I've started last week, and that's about it. Not much going on here, just same old stuff.
Ah, yeah, cool. Well, that's good, so...
Yeah, sometimes no news is good news.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get into some the anime discussion here that we talked about last week that we were going to start this week and check out. So we both watched Baki on Netflix.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, it's something I've been wanting to watch for a while. So I mean, I ended up, I binge watched the whole entire series, I'm going to be honest. We were only going to watch 3 episodes,
right.
But holy crap. Like,
yeah, I was hard to put down after 3.
Yeah. 3 is just when it starts to get good. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, wow. I was pretty impressed by it. I mean, I thought that it had a lot of good stuff. There were a couple minor things that, I wasn't a big fan of, but we can probably have a chat about those.
Yeah.
Do you want to get the couple of minor things out of the way first, and then we can talk about?
Yeah. Let me know. Maybe things you didn't like, and then we can discuss some other stuff.
Yeah. So the only thing there's like 3 things that I wasn't a big fan of. The first one was the 3D animation. I thought it was a bit clunky in this and unnecessary. The second was I feel like part 1 should have finished an episode earlier. Like, they should have started with the final episode as the start of the second part.
Right.
And I wanted more Baki in it. Like, I mean, Baki's in it, but he doesn't do a lot of fighting in the
right. The first season is definitely lacking on a lot of Baki fights for sure.
Yeah, so those are the 3 things I didn't really like about the series. How do you feel about those? Like,
yeah, I agree. Like, I thought the beginning was pretty good. I would have liked, I know they do a good job of like getting the backstory in there, but it's like, for people who don't know, I mean, this is based on, or like a follow up to Baki the Grappler. So yeah. Like an older series. So if you don't watch those, you're kind of coming here a little bit cold. I was hoping for like maybe a little bit more backstory at the beginning. Now they do a good job of kind of giving it to you throughout the first season, but
yeah, I agree. I do think I feel like maybe they should have called it something like Baki the Grappler, like Arc 2 or Part 2, or
something, to give you an indication,
So you'd be like, oh wait, if this is the second part, then I should go find the
Right,
first.
right.
Which that's why I started reading the manga actually.
Yeah, because I would have liked to go back and like, I started from the very beginning, like the old series first, kind of just to get more of a story. I'm sure if you watch those, that probably bases a lot more around him fighting than these other people.
Yeah,
right?
well, I've only read like 6 chapters, and there's a lot more about Baki in the first section. So
right.
And so yeah, like I thought though I really liked the setup, like the whole these 5 death row inmates that show up to the arena because they want to be defeated. Like I was like, that is actually really cool, and they're all really varied as well. They're not the same. It's not like it's the same like 5 guys. They all have really varied fighting styles. Especially the dude. What's his name? God, he's the American guy who uses all the traps and stuff. He's got like the fiber wire and everything.
Right. Dorian?
God, I can't. Dorian, that's his name. Thank you. Yeah.
That's like the only name I do remember.
Yeah. I remember Spec.
Spec, yeah.
Which is the really angry kind of semi Muay Thai fighter guy.
Yeah.
Who handicaps himself by using weapons. And then there's I can't remember the Russian dude, but he's the one who uses his knuckles to cut people.
The blades, yeah.
Yeah. And I also thought that the 5 like I guess good fighters, I suppose, for lack of a better description, were also all really cool as well. You've got Baki, of course. You got the Chinese Kempo guy. You've got Doppo, because Doppo's hardcore, and you've got that Yakuza guy who just gets like just pummeled, and he's just like whatever. Like,
which guy is Sagat from Street Fighter?
That's Doppo.
Okay.
Doppo Oroichi. I remember that guy because he reminds me of Sagat.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the same patch, the same like look to him, man. He looks identical.
Yeah, and he also like fought a tiger, so
right.
It's just like,
yeah.
But yeah, I honestly thought it was pretty well paced. And I thought that the fighting was good, apart from the sections where they did the 3D animation, which looked a bit jank. But luckily, those are sort of like I think if I remember, there's about 4 of them in the whole 13 episodes of the first season, which they're noticeable, but they don't really detract that much from the series either.
Yeah, like which scenes are you talking about? The 3D animation ones?
The one I particularly remember is there's that part where Doppo's fighting Dorian, and Dorian's got that special sort of power, and Doppo's kind of like fighting, and he's in 3D animation. And it looks really jank because everyone else around him is in 2D animation.
Right.
But he's in 3D. It looks wrong. Like, it looks like a 3D model somehow snuck onto the set.
Right.
So doing martial arts. Like,
I'll have to go back and check that out. I don't, it never really caught me, but maybe I just don't remember. So I'll have to go back and check it.
I have to admit, I think the thing for me is that I watched the recent Berserk series, which is basically fully 3D animated, and it looks terrible. So I think I probably noticed it a lot more because I was like, oh god, no, Berserk.
Yeah. So when you see some 3D creeping into your 2D, you kind of notice it right away.
Yeah. It's not so bad if it's like for example, Gundam has some 3D, but it's not as noticeable because obviously on giant robots it doesn't look so
out of place.
But when a 2D anime character suddenly becomes a 3D dude, like I find the shading in that gets really janked up in the transition. So it was pretty noticeable to me. But as I said, it's probably because I've watched a few 3D anime things and gone, oh god, no, don't.
So you definitely prefer the 2D animation, do you?
I definitely prefer it. It's not as bad if the whole series is in 3D, unless it's bad 3D, like the Berserk ones, which then it's super noticeable at that point.
What's like a standout 3D one that you enjoy?
Definitely the Gundam sections that are in 3D are really well done. I really enjoy them. I haven't really watched much full 3D anime outside of the Berserk stuff, but like honestly, I wouldn't. The problem is the couple of other shows I've watched that were 3D, these shows weren't very good. Like
Right.
yeah, like so yeah. While Berserk is a good show, it's got terrible animation, which is really off-putting. Like
The old one wasn't 3D though, correct?
no, the 1995 one is all 2D, which is good. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember it being like that.
Yeah, they released some recent ones, basically. Berserk 2016, 2017, and they're all 3D animation.
Okay.
It does not look good. Like, it's really off-putting. So, especially because they tried and capture Berserk as a manga and then put it into 3D, and it doesn't work. It just fails. Sadly. But yeah, oh no, sorry, you go ahead.
No man, it's good. What did you think of like the fight scenes? It's got a lot of heavy duty fight scenes going on.
I thought that the fight scenes were really well done. Some of them made me feel a little uncomfortable, I'll be honest. Like just a few of them, but because like when they start beating on each other, like it doesn't. It's not like yeah, look, they're like slightly bruised or maybe the blood's coming out. Now it's like people are missing like ears and freaking
hands.
I think the biggest one was when the Yakuza guy fought Spec, and you know what happens to his face. Like if you remember that.
Oh, the cheeks.
Yeah. I couldn't actually kind of look at him in the face because, especially because he's talking.
Yeah, and it's showing it. Yeah.
I mean, incredibly well done animation. I do want to say
Yeah.
that, but Jesus, was that off-putting?
Yeah, there were some intense fight scenes, man. I wasn't like, I'm not big into like horror and like, you know, gore and stuff, but man, some of these fight scenes were like up there when it comes to the gore factor.
Yeah, especially when they start off and they're like just normal, and then it's just like someone's hands just flowing off, like, you know, like just out of nowhere.
Yeah, it pretty happens
like,
pretty like randomly.
Yeah, well, it is the same with the Yakuza guy. You know, suddenly like they're fighting, and then suddenly, you know, Spec shoves bullets into his mouth, and it's on. Like that's the start of the fight. Like, that's when they get serious. But holy crap, yeah, no, I really enjoyed the fight scenes. I thought they were very well directed. I think my favorite thing is they don't go for very long, which kind of adds to their brutality a lot.
Yeah, they are really short fight scenes, eh? Like,
yeah, like I think the longest one is probably Doppo versus Dorian, which goes for like maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, and that one's one of the longer fights. Otherwise, they're all just like boom, boom, boom. Someone's dead, basically, or someone's near dead.
Yeah, Dorian has quite a few fight scenes in this show, in the first season.
Yeah, he's definitely the main focus of the season.
Yeah.
Which isn't surprising, because he's definitely one of the more interesting convicts as well.
Yeah.
I think the Russian guy is going to be the next big focus, honestly. His fighting style is very interesting, because they focused on him a bit in the background as well. Like,
yeah.
Like, because we don't know anything about the Japanese convict guy. Oh wait, no, sorry. The Japanese convict guy is the guy who he creates vacuums. That's right. And then there's the Scottish guy. I think is the other one, right? The redheaded dude.
Right. It's hard to keep track of them, because a couple of them that you only see a little bit, and then it's like, you know, like the Dorian sticks out, and the Russian guy sticks out to you, but then it's like a couple of other ones you don't see as much. So.
Yeah, and I certainly am looking forward to seeing the fight scenes where they actually properly get it on. Especially, I want to know how they're going to beat the Japanese dude who makes vacuums.
Yeah,
like you know, like how the hell do you fight a guy who can basically suck the air out of your lungs? Pretty much, like, you know.
I'm just excited to see a full-on fight scene with Baki. It's like we've gotten so little of him this season, like, and the little bit of tease you got there at the very end, you know, when he was kicking his ass, it was just like, oh man, I just want to see this guy rip someone up.
Yeah, and I mean that's why I think that should have been the final episode of the first season.
Right.
Because it was such a good teaser into what could come, and then they added that episode onto the end, which is a necessary episode. I actually enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, let's talk about that episode because that was kind of I found that an odd way to end the season. Like,
exactly, yeah, because it's basically an introduction to another character.
Right, which would be like the perfect episode 1 for season 2.
Exactly,
right?
I agree. I personally think they should have ended on 12 episodes, and then that should have been the start of the second season.
Right, him leaving in the car with Baki's girlfriend was like the perfect cliffhanger to leave season 1.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Which would have made me excited to watch season 2. Right. I ended up, I saw a bit of the first season 2 episode. I stopped watching it, and basically it's just a continuation from episode 13.
Right,
like it doesn't even feel like there was a sort of gap there. You know what I mean?
Maybe they did something weird where they didn't, where they kind of kept going straight through, and then they realized, they will release it and kind of break it up here, but maybe they kind of broke it up at the wrong spot.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that who knows? Because in the Japanese when they released it, that's how it ended. Episode 12, and then they started, and then Netflix is like, oh, we've got 12 episodes. They also sent us this other one. What should we do with it? Just
put it on the end, yeah.
Yeah, but it kind of does feel like the nubbin, like it's just kind of there, like
yeah,
like you're just like, oh yeah, no,
yeah.
So,
and what did you think? What did you think of that character in the last episode?
Holy shit! Like, he kind of reminds me of like a One Punch character almost.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen Dark Shine Alloy?
No.
He's basically just this really buff dude who basically can't be hurt.
Okay.
He looks almost exactly like the guy, except he's a bit thinner and taller.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yep, because they could both do that thing. I think he's going to be an interesting character. I've got a feeling something's going to go wrong, and he's going to end up just kind of just taking names. Like, he's just going to start beating everyone up.
Oh, the good guys too, you think?
Take him down. Yeah, I reckon so. I reckon something's going to go up with him, because if he's just there to beat up the other convicts, there's almost no reason for him to be there, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, what do the good guys do, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he's definitely going to... There's either one or two things is going to happen with him. One, he'll end up on the wrong side of both teams. Mm-hmm. So he'll be like a sort of like, third party.
Right,
or
like a rogue, yeah.
He'll be beaten up by someone on the evil team to show that, oh no, this guy was actually secretly even more badass than this other dude who was made up to be like super badass.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Scottish guy who hasn't done much, maybe he might beat him up, and then
even
it's like,
worse,
holy shit, it turns out the Scottish guy is like ridiculously powerful.
Right,
like,
right.
So they're my two theories on what might happen with this character. I may be wrong,
Yeah.
Could be wrong on both of them. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much how I'm feeling about the situation.
Yeah, because like if the way the things are going, it's like it seems like people pair off pretty good and they stay with them. So I could see him picking maybe either like the Scottish guy or picking one person on the bad side and then maybe not knocking through all of them, leaving some for the other good guys, but maybe him just focusing on like whether it be the Scottish guy or like some other person, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's likely as well. So that like, I think Baki's main rival is definitely going to be the Russian dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm all good with. I mean, the Russian dude's cool. I like him. So. And yeah, I think the way they build the convicts up was also really well done, because they have them all escape and then they have them all like beat up some really tough fighter in Japan as well.
Right.
It really kind of makes them go, oh shit, no, these guys, they're legit. Like,
yeah, it's almost like they all ventured out and found like the strongest person they could to beat up before heading to Tokyo, right? Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's just like, hey, aren't you a professional boxer? Let's do this. Like, bam. So yeah, I think it has a good variation of characters. They're all really good. They've all got a very distinct look. Like, no one really looks the same, which is good. I will say this: there's actually just one thing I'm not a big fan of about the art style, and that's people's lips in some of the characters.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Like some of them have like really sort of puffy lips.
I didn't clue in on it too much. No.
But I think that's about the only thing I didn't like about the art style.
Yeah.
A few characters have like really like you know,
big lips,
like stealing the camera. Like
yeah.
So, but you know, other than that, I'd suggest watching it. Like, in hindsight, I'd probably suggest starting with the Grappler, so
right,
you
right.
have a bit more of a basis. But that being said, as well, if you don't want to watch the Grappler, it explains a lot of the story up to that
right,
point,
right.
so, which is nice.
Yeah, like it's hard to recommend the Grappler because it's like we haven't seen it, so we don't know what the quality is like there. But
yeah, exactly. So I guess if you want the full story, maybe
go back.
check out the Grappler. But as far as a recommendation, I think it's safe to say that we both probably recommend Baki itself. So.
Oh, for sure. I've already told a few people about it, and I would definitely be safe recommending it. Yeah, it's like I said, even if you don't want to go back and get the backstory, you are able to pick stuff up throughout the season. Here, they do go back and kind of give you a bit of backstory on Baki and kind of what he's done and how to get here, and so I would definitely recommend
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'd also recommend the manga as well, since I have read several chapters now, and they're all pretty good. I've really enjoyed it. So
the manga's starting at where? Where is that starting off?
The manga that I'm reading is started like back at the beginning. So
okay, the Grappler.
Yeah. So there's basically there's been about 6 fights, and I think 5 of them have been Baki.
So that sounds cool.
Yeah, so you get a lot more, and the fights are pretty varied as well up to this point.
Cool. I'm gonna have to go.
He's still, he's still the same with Street Toughs. You know, they just like run from him basically.
Right. But it's all based tournament. Like it's all mostly the tournament.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's basically champion of the underground arena,
nice.
So he just fights a bunch of people under there. So
cool.
Yeah,
I think I might go back and check out the old ones before I move on to season 2. I think.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and read back up, and then I'll probably watch the rest of the anime because I've already started watching it. So I might as well finish watching it. Like, so because normally I'd just read through the manga, but I'm kind of interested to see how the anime sort of pans out.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also nice, like when you read a manga and then you watch the anime. It's nice to kind of see how things sort of pan out.
Yeah, and it's nice to put like a look to the pictures, or to put a pictures like the look to the reading, right? Like.
Yeah, exactly, and the music, of course, as well, which is something you don't get when you read.
What are your thoughts on the theme song?
It started and I'm like, oh god, and then like when it actually picks up, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it hit a top 10 list of
no,
but it did the job. Like,
I think with most, it grows on you too throughout the series, right?
Yeah, exactly.
First episode, you're kind of like, ugh, I don't know about this song. It's not that bad. But then after a couple of episodes, you're like, yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't be like, oh man, like the intro is such a good thing. But no, it does the job. It's not bad. It gets you pumped for the episode, which is basically what an opening needs to do.
Right.
Get you in the mood to actually watch the episode, really. So for me, that's really what makes a good intro. Does it put you in the mood to watch what's actually in the anime? If yes, then it did its job. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah. Alright, so I see you ended up watching some of High Score Girl. What was it like, dude?
So I just checked out I think 1 episode or 2 episodes. I went on Netflix and grabbed like but 1 or 2, 3 episodes of like 10 different animes just to kind of check a few out.
Yeah.
So I watched like the first episode of High School Girl, and it wasn't too bad. It was a bit different. It's like a lot more modern than like a lot of the fantasy ones that I watched. So it was like, it's got like a couple kids, and this little boy goes to like the arcade or whatever. And he's real like I don't know what to say. He's real like. Have you seen it or?
No,
okay.
But it's on my list. It's sort of something to check out. So I certainly wanted to hear what your thoughts were.
Yeah,
on it, so.
But the boy's got like a real like I I don't know, like he's got attitude, right? Anyways, he thinks he's like hot shit in the arcades, and then there's a girl that pops in there, and he recognizes her from school or whatever, and she's pretty badass when it comes to the arcades, and so I know it's pretty cool. It's kind of weird because they show like a ton of Street Fighter being played, like a ton of like whole bunch of other games in there, like they show a lot of like, you know, footage from like real games, right? So they kind of have that showing on the screen while these guys are playing, you know, Street Fighter and stuff and kicking each other's asses, and I know so far it's pretty good.
Yeah. So is it like the actual game footage, or is it like the game footage has been animated?
No, I have to say it's game footage.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I like that. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like they're showing actual like game footage being shown on the screen, so it's kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
They've got like all the sounds and like everything else, and
yeah, I'll have to give that a check out, I reckon. Then
yeah, I think it's definitely worth a check out, and then see how you are after an episode or two. But
yeah, no, most certainly. I think that sounds interesting. I'll have to give it a look. So.
I find with animes, it's so hard to watch just one episode and be able to give like a good recommendation, because it's like you get such a small slice of how things are, and right, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I always said to Lady Vamps, I always said to her, I always like to watch 3 episodes or something.
Right.
Because that gives you a general idea on what's going to go on in it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I watch the first episode or something, I'm like, I don't like it, you know, I'll keep watching another couple just to make sure that I actually don't like it, or if it, you know, changes my mind. Like,
right. Yeah, because a lot of times, you know, like, I mean, like just Breaking Bad, for example, me and my wife tried watching the first episode probably about 3 different times, because just, you know, you hear how good it is, and then we could just never get into it after watching it like 3 different times the first couple episodes. And then I started watching it on my own, and once I got into like, you know, 3 or 4 episodes in, I couldn't stop watching. I had to like binge watch it all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so because I always find the first episode is growing pain. So you know, it's kind of like they're kind of testing the waters.
Introducing the characters and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the second episode, normally something's going to happen, and then the third episode, they're sort of into the shit, story. Like, so.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the thing with Baki is, you know, the first 3 episodes and are sort of like getting into it, and then the 4th episode is where it really picks up. So, which is why after 3 episodes I want to keep watching. So big thing. Like,
Baki was really good for catching your attention the first couple, especially with how how visceral and how violent the fights were. If that's what you're into, it catches you right away. Like.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of series where I started and I was like, oh man, this sucks, and then by the 3rd episode I was like into it. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, sadly. Right. Maybe like Zeta Gundam. Actually, no, that's a perfect example. So Gundam Z or Gundam Zeta. The first episode is not fantastic, but by the time you hit the 3rd episode, holy crap! Like, what a series! Like. Next thing I know, I'm on like episode 48, and I'm like, I've got to go to bed now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I think that was my series where I was like, yeah, no, I'm glad I have the 3 episode rule. There's been a few that obviously haven't. Like, I've watched 3 episodes. I'm like, no,
right.
Like, I know I'm not a fan of it. Like the Final Fantasy anime, like Final Fantasy Adventure, I think it's called again.
Yeah.
I should have looked it up, right? Like in the downtime.
Yeah, I was meaning to too when you told me that thing about all the guns, the ammo.
Yeah, and once again, that's like the big thing. Yeah. Final Fantasy Unlimited is what
Unlimited,
it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. That was introduced to me by a friend. We were having a sleepover, like it was like an 8-person sleepover, and he was like, "Oh, let's watch this anime. I think it's great." And we watched like 3 episodes, and everyone was like, "Change it," except for the guy, obviously, who owned it. He's like, "Why? What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Dude, the only good thing is to find out what he's going to put in his gun." And I'm not going to watch a full episode just to find that out.
I was going to say, geez, you still have sleepovers? Man.
Oh yeah, this was. I think I was like 18,
Okay.
17,
I thought you
18
meant like
at this
recently.
point.
I'm like, holy shit, man! You still have sleepovers.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've had a sleepover for a while. So yeah, I think that's the big thing.
So what else have you been watching this week? Anything else?
Well, I'm up to the last 3 episodes of Samurai Champloo. I keep meaning to watch it, and then I get to the point where it's like, okay, I want to actually properly watch it because I
Right.
want to kind of absorb the ending because it's been a while since I saw it. Because the last 3 episodes is a 3-parter. But it's always been like, I know I'm gonna fall asleep like before I hit the end, basically because it's late at night. So I've just got to find some time to watch it. Yeah, because I watched Baki, I didn't have time to watch any more Double Zeta.
Right.
And One Punch Man season 2, I've got to wait for Lady Vamps or else she'll
gotcha.
One Punch me. So, but I did read up to date in the One Punch manga, which I'm really looking forward to. Like just before the final series, the final chapter, Saitama is about to fight this dude who's only a manga / anime character, so he wasn't in the web comic.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how this fight is going to play out. I still think Saitama will just punch him a couple times and he'll probably die, but it's interesting anyway.
Yeah.
They introduced a lot of really cool new monsters that were in the webcomic, which actually happened a fair bit in the manga, honestly. And you get to see a lot more of the S-Class heroes' powers. Like, you got to see Zombie Man, Child Emperor, which, in the webcomic, you get to almost see nothing of him. I mean, he's there, he does stuff, but you actually get to see kind of what his strength is, like, as an S-Class hero, which is really cool. And Flashy Flash also got a lot more in-depth fight scene from the webcomic.
Flash.
Yeah, Flashy Flash. He's basically just he's like a swordsman who's just super fast. That's his thing. Like, actually he's a ninja, I believe, but he dresses like a kind of like a 17th century swordsman rather than a ninja, and he's just like super fast. Like, he's basically the Flash.
Yeah.
As a 17th century swordsman, like that's basically his thing.
What do you think of the ninja from season 1?
Speed of Sound Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love Sonic. He's great. He does make several appearances.
Yeah.
He's a man who holds a very long grudge.
Yeah, he seems like the guy who just pops up every now and then to make a cameo.
I mean, he's very interesting because while he is an assassin, he's not necessarily he's not a bad guy, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, he's immoral, of course. Like, he has no morals, but he's definitely an interesting character. And I think it's really funny how he's got this rivalry with Saitama, and Saitama's like, "Who are you again?" Like, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
He's like, it's great. So, I think Sonic is really cool. I reckon eventually hero, honestly, just as a feeling. I mean, there's nothing in the manga that sort of has led me to believe that that's going to happen, but I just have a feeling that it might. Like, I think he's just going to eventually realize that Saitama is just way outside of his wheelhouse.
Yeah. I'm thinking he's going to join up with Saitama at some point.
Yeah, he'll probably be like Genos. He'll end up being like, just teach me how to be you, basically. So I think that's pretty much what I've been. That's what I've been really reading lately. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, I want to go back and get up to date. Keep watching that Samurai Champloo because the first episode I watched last week was super awesome, and I'm looking forward to checking out more of that for sure.
Yeah, it's a really good show. I think it's very much underrated as well. Not many people talk about it, and I think it's because it's short comparatively, to other series.
It's got such a good. It's got such a good vibe to it, though. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just really smartly written, and honestly, it's one of the few shows where the English dub for me is pretty much equal to the Japanese dub.
Right.
And there's not much of a change between what is said in English and what is said in Japanese, which is always a nice thing. And the voice acting is really good as well. Like, so that's one problem I find sometimes with English dubs. Right. The voice actors are not very good.
Yeah.
But no, the voice acting is really good in this. It's very accurate to what's being said. They do change a few things, obviously, because it doesn't always work.
Right.
Especially with some of the rap songs that come in later. Like, there's only like 3 of them.
Yeah.
But, obviously, something that rhymes in Japanese doesn't necessarily rhyme in English, so they have to do a bit of changing up for it. But not big things, which is always good. I always like that. So. But yeah, I'll definitely check out High Score Girl. 7 Deadly Sins is also on my list, but I just haven't got around to it yet. So
yeah, like I'm probably about 5, 6 maybe episodes in, and so it's really good too.
Yeah,
it's more that
cool.
It's more like the fantasy style, kind of medieval times type deal, swords and magic, and
yeah,
so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look really good. I've been meaning watch it for a while, but it's it's like one of those things where you get sidetracked by other things, and then you're like, it's like the list that never ends. It's always something else is always added onto the end.
Well, I know, like I said, I added these like 10 animes on my phone on Netflix, so I could kind of check them out while I'm at work on break.
Yeah,
and I just kept going back to like Baki and stuff, but man, I want to check all these out because they all look super cool. But it's just. And there's so many more on there I haven't checked out yet. It's just trying to find the time to watch these. It's just insane.
Yeah. It gets out of hand. But hopefully we'll be able to get all these things ticked off. So by the way, I looked up remember how I was talking about how there's different age groups of manga?
Yeah.
So I actually found out what they're called. So, I actually looked them up, found out what all of them are called. So, I thought I could just quickly actually let people know what they're called. Just got to pull the list up again now. Oh, what the hell? It disappeared.
So why are you looking for the list there? We already watched one episode of High School Girl. Maybe that's what we'll work on for next week. We'll both check out like 3 episodes and.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that.
Unless you had something else in mind.
No, I didn't have anything.
All right, cool.
Alright, so I've got my list here now.
Okay.
So obviously there's different categories, but these are the age categories. So there's the children under 10 category is called Kodomo. So as an example, Yokai Watch, Pokemon, those kind of animes.
Yeah.
Then there's Shoujo, which is for teenage girls, which is like Sailor Moon, stuff like that. Shonen, which we already know, teenage males,
One
Dragon
Piece,
Ball, Naruto, all that kind of stuff. Then there's Josei, which is women, anime focused at women. The only one that I knew off the list that I saw was Nodame Cantabile, which is basically a show about there's this violinist. No, he plays the piano, and she's a violinist, and she's got an illness, and they kind of end up together. Like it's like a romantic story kind of
what
thing.
else is on that list for women? Anything else?
Nothing that I didn't really do anything because I didn't recognize anything else. There's not a lot, sadly.
Okay.
So I was trying to pick the popular ones.
The ones that you recognized, or okay.
Yeah. And then finally there's Seinen, which is for men, and the examples for that I got were One Punch Man and Berserk.
Okay.
So they're the 4 age groups
That's cool.
of the demographic, basically. So that's how they do manga. So you go out and you buy a magazine for shonen, and you get manga and teenagers. If you go out and buy seinen, you get the adult ones, and obviously they go from there. So
that's kind of cool. At least it breaks it down a little bit.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd mention it because I remember I mentioned it last week, and I didn't know any of the
the proper terms.
The categories. Yeah, so So there we go.
That's cool because like if I was going out to buy a manga for somebody, it's like at least I kind of know. Okay, well, this is kind of the category I should be looking in. These are the ones that are kind of in that category. Like it kind of helps people out when they're going to buy them, right? So.
Yeah, exactly, and because they're a sort of anthology collection, like because you buy a magazine and there's like an issue, there's like 5 different things and one issue of each sort of thing. So you can kind of go, oh yeah, no, it turns out I actually like blah because I read it in the magazine instead. So now I'll go try and find it. So it's a really good way to read things that I guess you probably wouldn't normally read and find out, oh no, I actually like them, or I know this is shit, I'm not going to buy that. So sadly we don't have any equivalency in English speaking countries. It's really only a Japanese only thing, so they'll just have to keep watching this show for recommendations, I guess.
Yeah. Tune into the show for her weekly recommendations.
So yeah, but yeah, so I guess I find that really interesting because there's sort of nothing, like we sort of have some close things with the age rating system, but that's really not a recommendation. It's like a don't watch this R-rated movie if you're not 18 kind of thing, like rather than oh no, I recommend this movie for people over 18.
Right, it's just more ratings than it is like recommendations.
Yeah, exactly. So. It's definitely, I think it's a very cool thing, and it's very Japanese, I suppose, would be the best way to put it. Like, so yeah, but yeah, I think that's all I got to say about the age categories at this point. So,
well, that's all I have to say about like the animes I've been watching this week, anyways.
Yeah, same here. I think we've covered it pretty well. Baki good. Other animes we're definitely gonna watch, and we'll certainly be watching that High Score Girl. So for
we'll check that out, and we'll
next cast.
check us out next week, and then we'll give our thoughts on that one.
Yeah, exactly. So,
all right, sounds good. Let's close this one down, man. Unless you got something else.
No, I'm all good, man. I think we've covered it for this week.
All right, cool. All right, if
awesome.
You can catch Count Vamps on Twitter and Twitch.
Yep.
And we'll have all his links in the description below. So, and same with me. You can check out Dreadnought X on Twitter and Twitch. You can also now catch the show on all your favorite podcast apps: iTunes, Google Play, and we're now on Spotify. So you can check out our anime talking on Spotify. And thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. You have a good one.
All right, later.
Yeah, see ya.